The main agenda here is the promotion of made in Nigeria products.
Could this trigger the much needed change in the telecom industry for better service delivery?
Welcome to Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja.
A golden opportunity for the country to showcase its potentials among Committee of Nations. Now, here comes the body, accompanied by her husband from India, where she has been receiving treatment. Total liberalization of the communication sector will bounce back in view of the sentimental attachment to it by Nigerians. The need for the players of the industry to still put their acts together to consolidate on the previous efforts has therefore become imperative. That popular saying that necessity is the mother of invention is beginning to have effect on Nigeria for good. Reporting from Dubai. Hello, I am Ruben Okala. I have not retired. I am refiring at KAFTAN TV. And as you see on KAFTAN TV, get back to work.
You can't afford to miss the press with guests so knowledgeable and articulate.
The World Human Rights Index and Rules of Law shows that Nigeria was ranked 142 in terms of insecurity.
What of the issue of Mahmoud Yakub?
Join us Mondays to Fridays for in-depth analysis from the front page of our national dailies.
And IGBO Group in U.S. Fault Candles continue trial, and that's on page 27 for your readers morning.
From the heart of the National Assembly to the pulse of the presidency.
I rise to second this motion as moved by my brother Ali Jesse.
And we will work with you.
Breaking news on politics, the economy, business, education, entertainment.
Nigeria, be healthy, our own dear native land. No tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigeria, small and proud to serve our sovereign motherland. Our flag shall be our symbol that
Hello, good to have you on the program again. And of course, it is the polity this time, and we're talking the polity on KAFTAN television. And it's always, as I say, whenever I come on here, that whenever it's time for the polity, we discuss the polity. And so we say, welcome. Please do share with us this moment. I know you will not regret it, especially if you have interest in looking at the things that have to do with the polity. Okay, Tukwanubagu here, and I wouldn't be working alone, but I just want to let you know that there are things we need to talk about today because we have a topic. Before I talk about my guests that are here with me, there is a topic, and it's party candidates for election. Party candidates for election. And why we're saying this is that we also have a right that says choosing for voters or parties, choosing for voters or parties, because why we're saying this is that we have seen political parties bringing people that they feel are the ones that will contest for different positions for them. And we are beginning to wonder whether all these people that they're bringing, whether they have considered the people's interest, or is just the person that is a power mover in the party, and so they use that person. Why I'm saying it is that if you look today, you're seeing that in the APC, most of the governors that are still supposed to be returned, or the ones that have spent 4 years, almost all of them have been returned. And so they will come back to do it. They have not wondered whether the people are even interested in having such governors as people who are their governors today. And so in actual fact, the party, as far as they are concerned, these people who are the governors are perfect for the position. So nobody is talking about moving them. And this factor of Nigerian factor of finishing your 8-year term, that is doing the first 4 years, then they come in the second year. But then when you talk about that, you remember that in Rivers State is not working like that, because in Rivers State, Governor Siminalayi Fubara is not coming out under the APC where he had belonged to, where he had decamped to after all the crises that they had. Incidentally, they have brought another person altogether to be the gubernatorial candidate of APC in Rivers State. So the governor, no matter how good he had been, has not been accepted, has been rejected. And of course, when he went for the primaries and when he went for the screening even, he was asked to go and settle with his master, which the person could refer to as his mentor. And as a result of that, he was axed out. They didn't vet him or see whatever about him. And this is what we keep asking, is this what we should be doing in Nigeria today? Is it the will of some strong powers around, or the will of the people that we need to follow when we're talking about having people who will be candidates for political parties in Nigeria? But all the same, good news, I must say, that we have had somehow this morning, that not only has Sim Fubara resigned or decamped from APC, he has also joined the NDC and coming as their gubernatorial candidate, going for it. That would be good. Having him slug it out with Chinda, his brother Chinda, coming to see who will become the governor of Rivers State. And of course, other parties will bring their own. But Chinda has been a strong man in the National Assembly, minority leader in the National Assembly all the while, majority leader. And all that. And there are a lot of things, majority whip. One of those things I'll be able to get it and talk about it effectively. So what I'm saying is, looking at all these things, are they doing it for the people or for themselves? Are the politicians bringing politicians who will become their gubernatorial candidates for themselves or for the masses? Which one is it that we're doing in Nigeria today? We want to find out more about this, and we'll also look at other things like the Electoral Act that the court has said that INEC has made a mistake, and so they should let people do what they want to do. So parties have extended the time for people who want to contest. And so are we expecting many more decampees from APC, because there are so many of them who have been wronged, who feel bad because people that came from the other party and who decamped from PDP, and they came and became people in charge of the apparatus of the party in their states, like in Delta State and like other states too, Enugu State, and a lot. So those people have taken over everything, and the old ones who have been there have been, kept aside. It's quite a pity that such a thing is happening, because I remember that in Delta State, Ned Nwoko has lost out to Arthur, the former governor, Okowa. And of course, he came with the PDP, and they all came in and took over, and Ned is nowhere to be found today as far as that is concerned, that ambition is concerned. We have seen it in different ways and different parties, and looking at all of it, there have been so many of them who have been returned, as I mentioned, that most of the governors. The same thing with members of the Senate and some others, and the ones that were knocked off from the Senate are the ones who the campees from PDP came in and took over and made them irrelevant, I will use the word, for now. Well, we discussed this and a lot more. That's why that topic you've seen me talk about is the topic we'll discuss today, talking about choosing for voters or parties, that is party candidates for election. I want to introduce my guests. The first one that is closest to me is someone I've always, of course, he is wearing so many shoes, but today he's coming in simply as a public affairs analyst. I'm talking about Sam Praise Itomo. Sam Praise, good to have you here again, sir.
Thank you, Kechuku. Wonderful audience. Well done.
I also have someone that has been with us, had been with us, and he's here as a guest on the program today. He had been here too as a presenter of this program some other time in the past, and then he's here today as a guest. And I would say that this is the beginning of many beautiful things happening, because you will see I'll keep bringing him more to come onto this program on this station, talking about John Okoro. He is also a public affairs analyst and a journalist. Good to have you today, Johnny.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. And thank you out there for tuning in.
Right. So we're looking at it, as I said, there is something that follows that. And that thing is that it is electioneering, because immediately after these candidacy have been concluded, the next thing is they'll start their campaigns immediately. And before you know it, it's time for election and all that. This is, we're going towards the second half of the year, and so soon we'll be talking about the campaigns itself. And it's also good news that as we talk about people decamping and going somewhere else, as this man, the River State governor has done, so is it that we had, of course it's no longer news, but it's still there, that Peter Obi happened to be the sole candidate of the NDC. So it was given to him last weekend that he is now known as the presidential candidate of that party. No other person filled the form, so it's been given to him. It is a unanimous thing for him under NDC. Then, of course, someone asked me a question, which I know that we'll talk about it today. Say, why didn't Kwankwaso go in for it? I said, Kwankwaso didn't come in to contest for presidency. I want to say that he is working alongside Peter Obi, so that Nigeria will be okay. Okay is Obi and Kwankwaso. So that's the way we've seen it. We are looking, we want to see more that will come from all this. A lot will still be discussed, but then let me ask my panelists here to say something. I want to ask you, John, looking at all of this, where do you think we're going to? Where do you think we're headed?
Well, I think the most important thing here is about the people. The people. It's about the people. Democracy is all about the people. Democracy is about participation of the masses in governance. When people have a say in how their affairs are handled. And that is on one hand. Now, on the other hand, you also talk about those governments that you have just mentioned now, as the electoral, process is going on, the parties are bringing people. Now, ordinarily, this candidates who are emerging, you know, as flag bearers for parties are supposed to be the representative of the people.
Sorry, please let me not disturb you, but I don't want to forget this thing I said, that Chinda Kingsley, I've been the former minority leader.
Yeah, he is still the minority leader.
Because he's still there.
However, because now that he's decamped to the APC and is now the flag bearer of the APC in the state based on the vetting, you know, and clearance given to it. So when they return now to the House, definitely he has to relinquish that particular position as a minority leader. That's how it is. So as I was saying before, so when people emerge as aspirants or as candidates, or even after winning elections, these people are the representatives of the people. That's why for you to take up any position, either as a governor, or either as a member of the House of Representatives, or a senator, any elected position, it must be the people who gave you that mandate to go there.
Yes.
So, and once you get to this place, the primary interest must be for the people. Whatever you do, your policy, whatever framework, whatever you do there, it must be people-oriented. That's where the problem lies. So however today in Nigerian politics, we can see that that's not the situation.
Yes.
It's more or less about people going there for themselves, by themselves, and everything just
about
for themselves.
Yes.
Nothing else about the people. That's where the problem. So as we see the parties, you know, doing or going through the processes of nomination, of party primaries, conventions, and on, leading up to the general election, the main question would be, after 27 years in this fourth republic where we are, what have Nigerians gained since 1999 when we entered into this civil rule? What have we gained as a people? You know, there's what we do in this country, which is what they call retrospective amnesia. What is it? It's about the penchant to look back, to having that nostalgia, you know, for the years gone by. Why is it so? Because the years gone by are better than the present. In fact, for Nigerians, the future looks very bleak because there's nothing to hope on, even in the present.
The future looks
very bleak. Nothing to look even in the present. So we keep on going back. They say, oh, the good old days. Oh, if it was when Jonathan was in power. Oh, when Obasanjo was in power. Oh, when Abacha was in power. You see, keep on going back. Oh, even when Obasanjo was the head of state assembly. Oh, when Gowon was in power. Oh, we keep on going back. Keep on going back. Simply because those days were better. So why can't we have a situation whereby today will be better than yesterday? And when we look into the future, we have hope. But that's not the situation now. So also when I look at all these political activities going on now, I'm not a little bit elated because unless if something changes in the next few moments, but if it's still the same old days going around the whole vicious circle, it's still the same problem. Where are the people in all this? That is my own.
Okay. I also want to add that the SDP also had their convention, which this station covered well when they went to Bauchi, and in that convention, the former presidential candidate of the party emerged. In fact, he was the sole candidate too, the only person that went for it, contested for it, bought the form for it, and it was given to him. Talking about
Prince Adebayo.
Adewale. Now, looking at it, a few days back, I think 2 days ago, the sacked chairman, Gabam, organized his own. These people went to a stadium in Bauchi, but this Gabam team met in a hall here in the FCT and did what they did, and they brought another Yoruba man as the presidential candidate, saying that that one is also the person that will contest for SDP. And I keep wondering, how can someone that has been a sacked person be the one that will gather all this group and spend money, and they do all that they did? It was on air, At least I saw it on AIT for up to 4 hours, and there may be some other stations where it was aired, and all that. At the end of the day, they have brought someone. So there are 2 candidates as far as SDP is concerned until INEC tells us the right one to follow. These things, they're not all part of the problems, because I keep saying, is it the people or the politicians that they are doing these things for? Some praise.
Yeah, he mentioned the admiration, or what we call the nostalgic
retrospective amnesia.
Yes, when you begin to admire the past. You know why it's like that? It's because the present political players are more or less what I call hijackers. They are no longer in the blueprint of what we so-called politics. They've lost the sense of what is politics. And I was told that when purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable.
Please, I want to mention something. I just gathered that the SDP went to court, and that today the matter has been settled, that Adewale is the one that is emerged as
from the party primary.
Party. So that we have one person now in SDP as the presidential candidate. Yeah? So it's important that we mention that. Let's not forget Debayo Adewale. I hope I'm correct.
Of course.
Okay.
He has sacrificed so much for SDP now.
Of course, he has.
He has sacrificed so much for that. So, sometimes we want to play on meritorious, cap. If you are cap, you merit it. Take it.
Who the cap fits, let him wear it.
You remember there was one of the sessions we had here some months back when Fubara was restored after that, where they removed him, impeachment saga. So we treated the matter here, and you asked me, what do I think River State governance is going to look like after now? I told you very well, I wouldn't forget. As if Fubara can never be himself again. You know why? Because we have lifted the program, the pendulum has lifted from political program to that of power, brokers.
Yes.
A situation where I have agreed to your terms, so far I can come back, and then you sign, I sign. The sharing formula, appointment formula, and all what you have. So he has tried it to an extent, and the power brokers also found that he is not that submissive to their expectation. So now he has been weeks out of that place. And now, consensus candidacy is exactly what we call against a paradox to politics, to governance. Because we normally have delegates to your party primaries, then your delegates who represent their various constituency cast this vote on behalf of their people. And then party leadership or flag bearership emerge from there. But now, it is the big wigs that are single-handedly picking. Are you going to be lawyer? Come and sign in my office. Or we meet in Transcorp Hilton. This is the ratio of the sharing formula. You agree, you don't agree. So it's not about experience.
Sorry, if I might just jump in here.
Yes.
You cannot blame them because this is exactly what the law says.
Yes.
Because, the Electoral Act 2026 actually came out with those 2 options. Before, we used to have delegate election for primaries. Then there was also the consensus. Then what they call the direct primaries.
Yes.
But this time around, the Electoral Law 2026 as amended actually removed the delegate and only allowed consensus and the direct primaries.
Yes, let me tell you, because
you understand that. So most of the people, so for those who are using consensus, despite the fact that it might not really be the best, but they have not gone outside the remit of the law. That's still within what the law says, stipulates. You understand? So either you do consensus or you do direct primaries.
That law is a kangaroo law. Why? Because Tinubu has been governor of Lagos State, and between that time, 1999 till now, no governor emerges in Lagos State without his signature. Is that not what they are now bringing us? They are now nationalizing it and then making it to become a federal law. That is barbaric. We don't want it that way. That's not the politics we've known. You know why? Like I keep saying, if you don't have good governance, and then your godfather, you are remitting very well, like the case of Fubara and Wiki. This is, you are destroying the people. The people are crying out loud. We are suffering. We are not okay with this consensus candidate. If a governor or a senator is not playing well, when is the next election, the people have power to whisk him out of that place and vote a better human being.
But now that power has been taken away from the people.
It has been taken away from the people.
No, it hasn't been
That's
taken away.
kangaroo law.
No, the direct primaries.
Yes.
Still invest that power.
Yes, but then it depends on
it doesn't play out.
Let us understand the trajectory,
you are holding for
the dynamics of the Nigerian, the dynamics of the Nigerian political system.
Yes,
we know that the Nigerian political system is transactional. Everybody is aware of that. We know, despite, even if the spirit of the law is good, clear, unambiguous, the politicians will always find a way to do what? To go around this law. Let's just use let's just use the direct primaries, because you know the fact remains that despite the fact that in some of the parties they agreed that it's going to be some consensus, but when the primaries came, people said no, we want direct primaries. You and I saw it on tape.
Yes, this one
where people lined up and they were counting. If they count 1 to 100, they will now leave 101 and 102, and then count to 200, and then from there 500. It happened before all our eyes. Despite the fact that because in other advanced democracies, before you become the candidate of the party, they have to pass through very rigorous processes, and all these processes must involve the people, the party members. Yes. And that is the essence of that, because before, why they actually removed the issue of delegates, it's simply because it was believed that if you say delegates, you're talking about people who have been elected in office. Yes. And therefore, the governor who is in power will use his power of incumbency to influence those delegates, because many of them, he is the one that actually appointed them.
From him.
Now, because of that, that issue of delegates was now removed. So it now remains the people, which is supposed to be the direct input of the people. Yeah. As members of the party, you come and line up behind your own candidates, and they're trying to. You know what I'm saying now. But the fact remains that now, even with that, giving the people the power to elect, you could see the manipulations, like so it is about manipulation. So it is beyond even the law. It's beyond the law. In fact, people used to say that if as good as the United States of America Constitution is, do you understand? That if you do an exchange of this Nigerian Constitution and the US Constitution, that if you bring the US Constitution to Nigeria, Nigerians will see mess it up. And if you take the Nigerian Constitution to the US, they will refine it and use it very well. But if you bring, because of, it is not just even about, that's why anytime we talk about law, amendment, this, that, I just laugh.
Mindset of the normal American people are
because even if you amend these laws, the laws are fine prints written on paper. These laws are inanimate.
Yes.
They don't have life because they are just laws on paper in fine prints. The laws become animated when human beings like you and myself give you that life. So no matter how fine the spirit or the letters of a law is, if the individuals, the human beings, you and myself, who implement these laws, decide to mess the law up, the law will remain messed up.
That's what our judiciary are doing now.
That's the issue. So it's even so it is beyond even the law itself.
Judiciary is already
because we are talking about consensus, direct primaries. Now you saw what happened even in direct primaries, where before our own very eyes.
The direct primaries would have been the best, but they're still fraudulent, the whole system.
You see,
what is really happening?
You see someone counting, and you move from 100
to 110
to 500, and people there will not say anything.
And it's in media,
and they will keep quiet. I wonder why nobody will call him to order, because they say, go on. The first time I saw this was the way it happened in northern Nigeria. I can't remember, Kano State. That was where I saw it for the first time, when they would
And we're thinking maybe it was a mistake.
2, 7, 9, 21, 40, 75, 120, and they will continue. I thought, you know, nobody on the queues, all these queues, will say anything. They will keep quiet.
They bring in professors as...
No, at this point, it's not even the professors. It's just the party people that are doing that. Yes. So, and after that, we thought it would end there. But now it's becoming
a lot of extrapolation.
A national thing.
Yes.
And it's quite a shame.
Legalized.
It's quite a shame. Now that we, at least when we look at the political parties, we've seen that looking at NDC, they have their presidential candidate. SDP, they have their presidential candidate. At least these two we are sure of now. Even if Kabam goes to appeal court, well, that remains. Let's follow the one that we've seen. Even before I got to know about the verdict and all that, I mentioned it here, that I wonder how they could come and start doing such things when the main party had already concluded what it did. Well, it's good that their presidential candidate happens to be a lawyer, and so he knows what the law says, and they have come to prove it. Well, I wish him well. We wish him well. We congratulate him here on this program on the polity. Well, we'll still continue. Looking at the way it has happened, how interesting do you think Rivers' election will be with this thing that we're seeing, that Chinda is now there for APC, and the governor himself is there for NDC? You know, talking about the fact that there are structures. Yes, the former governor had structures, but the current governor was the one supervising the structures, so he can see the stuff. Though right now, for the first time in Nigerian politics, one man is in charge of two political parties, and nobody saying anything against it. In Rivers State, yes, PDP and APC. The person that controls them is one person, that is the minister here, not even there with them here in Abuja. So, you see, this is life. This is life. But then what I'm asking, I think it would be a very interesting thing, because if that election is allowed to go well, not being made the way he turned not being made the way he turned the first one.
They don't turn it bloody.
The last national election, presidential election, where it has been proven that the Labour Party man won in Rivers State, but that former governor turned it to the way we saw. Today, the people you are doing these things with, some of them are now against you and in your state. I don't know, how do you see it? Do you think they can move on with these elections, and Chinda will come and beat Fubara?
The development, the political development in Rivers State is actually very bizarre. I have been trying to look for a precedent, even not even in Nigeria,
yes,
even across the world, where there have been, political progress, across across different periods. I don't know. I'm not saying that there may not be, but I have not really come across one in what is going on in Rivers State, because we understand that the principle of party politics is about ideologies. That is why no two parties are the same. You might have similar ideologies, but you are not the same. That's why, even you see parties feeding different candidates, for different political offices. So, so it's only in the parliamentary system of government where you see a coalition, but a coalition comes only after election, only to form a government. When you want to form a government after elections have been concluded, if you don't have a simple majority to form a government in a parliamentary system of government, you might still need to move for a smaller party to have the coalition, so that you can form government. But that's where you can see something that is near to coalition. But when you have a system that we have here, which is the Washington model, presidential system of government, where you have individual parties with their definite ideologies, going into government, then you now come together and say you are forming what you call a rainbow coalition, just because you want to be in control of politics in that particular state. You know, it is bizarre. I don't know how it's going to pan out. I don't know where it's going to lead to. Because if you also look at the case of Chinda, for example, Chinda, until the very last minute, was a member of the PDP.
Yes.
We didn't know, and he was the minority leader of the Federal House of Representatives. We didn't know when he officially resigned from PDP. I'm not saying that he didn't do, but I'm not saying we didn't hear.
Yes.
We didn't. Maybe it's not even our business to hear.
Yes.
You know, that kind of a thing. But we know that in most instances, when people who hold such high offices do anything, it becomes public knowledge.
Yes.
But that didn't happen. The next thing we heard that he had picked a form for APC to contest for governorship. There's someone who had not been a member of the APC all these years, and then we also heard that even someone again picked a form for the PDP, and the plan was that if it doesn't work here, it's going to work here. But today, as it's panning out now, it seems like the road, the coast is not clear for Chinda to stand as the flag bearer of the APC instead, as against a sitting governor who ordinarily he's been the practice in this country, who has the right of first refusal. And if you look at it, like you mentioned earlier in your intro, where almost all the sitting governors are also have been given automatic tickets to run for a second term in office. So I don't know what's going to pan out. I don't know how you had the election, because ordinarily it is also because of the way we practice or the way we run elections in this country, where it isn't just about the people. Because if election in Nigeria is about counting the votes of the people, there is no politician who will come and do what is called a rainbow coalition, say that you want to bring two parties together to support one candidate in a democratic system. In a democracy, it won't work. So it is because they know that you can easily manipulate the system in election. If not, so why would you not say you are forming a coalition, a rainbow coalition in a state politically to support the candidate, one person? The last time we see things like this was during the military era, where you had the 5 parties who came together and said they were supporting Abacha, that the labor, like they said, that they were the 5 fingers of a leper's hand.
Yes.
That's the last time we see a thing like that. So you understand. So you see, you want to come as a coalition to support the candidate. Who does that in a democracy? Who does that? I've not seen that precedent. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I know that if Nigeria is a system that is predictable in terms of election, you know, in fact, there's what they call exit polls. When elections are going on, the people who are pollsters are already telling you how the election might go. That's exit polls. You also have opinion polls. Like in Hungary, for example, Viktor Orban had been there for 16 years as the prime minister. But in this last election, despite the fact, even while before the election came up, you could see the polls coming out that this man will lose the election. In fact, because of that, the vice president of the U.S. J.D. Vance had to fly in from the U.S. all the way to Budapest in Hungary to go and meet the man to support his election. At the end of the day, what happened? He still lost. After 16 years in past prime minister. Before then, that thing had been predicted based on the dynamics that had been played down, established over a long period of time. But Nigeria here is anything good. That's why somebody can say, I want to bring two parties together and join to support a candidate in a democracy in the 21st century.
The more annoying thing is that we keep hearing that nobody should interfere, that in this state we have a system of operation, that is the way it is. If anybody interferes, that person is causing problem for himself. Why should it be? Why should what happens in your state be
different from
the thing that is wrong and nobody can speak against the wrong? And now you're making it a norm. Just because someone stayed there for 8 years and was trying to get everybody to stand with him so that they can get everything, and after that they have continued doing it. Is it right to do such? It is not. It is not. I hope one day people will wake up to see these things and talk about them the way they ought to be talked about. Well, some praise. Some people are going into the Senate. I have seen it here that the governor of Imo State has got a ticket, so he will be returning to the Senate from where he came to the governor to become the governor. And so, as though this is my normal position, just hold it for me for a while, let me go and govern my people, I'm returning. That's the sort of thing we have seen. And we've also seen some other people who are like that. Governor Alea, I think he has finished 8 years.
No, he has not. He's just done one term.
Okay, so
he's been given automatic ticket. He's among those who have been cleared to run for a second term.
Yes. Then there are some others who are still coming. Like, of course, you can't take away the fact that the Senate president is returning, and other people like that, they are returning. And we look at it and begin to wonder. It goes just the way they want it to go, and nothing happens. Is this supposed to be an exclusive right of a person? I know I'm going to ask you this same thing, John, but before you say something, because I know there should be reference that you will make looking at the American democracy, but I want to ask the man that I will refer to as the advocate of the masses. What do you think about it?
Just like you said, I stand with the masses, and seeing the suffering that the masses have been going through, especially those who are not opportune to be in APC or in privileged government offices where you can pen rob and manufacture lies of how snakes swallow billions, how crocodile grew hands and went into INEC office and seized some servers. We have been hearing all kinds of manufactured lies and on and on. It is completely barbaric for a man who left the Senate, went to serve 2 terms as governor, now fighting with a consensus candidacy back to the same Senate, as if we don't have other Immonites that are good to represent the people. So this idea of packing loot just for you and your family and properties abroad, that is just their mindset.
Just as you have Juice Okalo being in Abia State, and his younger brother in the House of Reps.
The same thing. As if nobody else is qualified to eat in Nigeria. Okay, like I keep saying, if you are telling me that you are going there with equity and transparency, why is it a do or die? Why must you be so monotonous and always want to recycle yourself? For how many years? The evil there is beyond speech.
Okay. I now return to John, because that's why I said I know you make reference to the international system. Let's talk about it.
Like we said, there's nothing wrong with people who volunteer to serve and are serving well, and people want them to remain there and return them all the time, and there's nothing wrong with it.
That would have been a good background.
There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. However, we also know that Nigeria is also a peculiar place where we have different races, different religions, different ethnic groups in a state. And it is fair enough that these powers rotate among these groups. Just like in Nigeria today, we have about the issue of zoning north and south. You remember at the national level. Now, even at the state level, even at the level of the senatorial districts and federal constituencies, I was mentioning about a particular House of Rep member, I don't want to mention the name here, who had been there for a long time, but this time around he lost. The people said, no, we have had it, let us go to this area. Let this part of this state too, or let this part of this constituency also test it. No, that is also okay for fairness. But beyond that, like we always say, it's all about the people, because this program is about the people.
It's democracy.
What is going on now, the political process going on now, is it for the party or is it for the people? That's the topic of this program today, is it not? Now, in all this, even if the same individual is coming back, like I said, like before we enter this program, I mentioned Joe Biden, the immediate past president of the U.S. Since 1972, he had not done another thing but government, from senator, from being in the Senate. Then he now became a vice president and ended up as a president himself.
Since 1972.
Now, he's not the only one. There are a lot of people like that. Why is this? It's not as if Biden had been strolling to the Senate since 1972. He'd been facing tough opposition, both in the party and from other parties. But because the people said, okay, this man has been doing well, you can go back. That's the way because they're advanced. But here, you cannot even do that because of the interest of other people. who are within that state. So that's why it's always, in fact, in some states before, I don't know, earlier at the beginning of this democracy in 1999, there were arrangements whereby if you are going to the House of Rep, then we could use 2 terms for this particular zone of that state. Then you step out, someone else. But beyond that, when you also follow that particular line, it becomes also transactional in such a way that, because if at the end of the day people are not getting anything out of all these things, then it is still total nothing.
It's a better transactional than what we are saying now.
Exactly. So it's even nothing if people are not getting anything. That if people just zone and you go there and fill your own pocket for your cronies and for yourself, and the people you are supposed to serve are not getting anything, it's still the same issue. And that is the overriding problem. That is where I have my own concern. If one individual from a particular area representing that particular zone goes to the Senate or goes to the House of Reps or go to the House of Assembly at the state, and you are bringing the dividends of democracy to the people, good and fine. If you also follow the principle of equity and you zone within the state and the people are not getting anything, it is totally insignificant. You understand what I'm saying? That is where I am concerned. So it's about, because just before I conclude, I think it's also very important that both the people and those who go out there that we send to go and represent us, they must know that being in politics is about service. It's for you to go and serve the people.
The people.
That's why you must fear the people.
Not the controllers.
But it is now, the reverse the case in Nigeria now. The people are like, the people are the ones picking the crumbs. While the servants they send to them to present them are the ones who are at the table, eating all the good meals, while the people who are supposed to be the bosses are the ones now picking the crumbs, falling from the table of the servant that you have sent to go and represent you as a president, as a vice president, as a senate president, as a senator, as a member of the House of Reps, as a governor, as a local government chairman and councillor, as a member of the State House of Assembly. You are a servant of the people. And therefore, it's the people that should feed fat from the good of the land. It is not you. While the people that are supposed to serve are the ones who are now being pauperized in abject and perpetual poverty. That's where the problem lies. That's where the problem lies.
Then again, the reason why you see them, like you mentioned, Kalu, they serve as governor, and then from there, they just jet up to National Assembly, is to enable them stay there and cover the mess, because they never had good intention when they were in office. So, and in Nigeria's situation, that whatever law National Assembly passed is already mandated to be, flushed down and oozed to the people by force, whether they like it or yes. So once they finish that 8 years as governor, they quickly go there to make sure that whomever is important is being serviced. And then you stay there and continue your money laundering, drug trafficking, and perpetuate more corrupt activities.
You see, like if you look at the case of Hope Uzodinma in Imo State, what is also very curious there, if Hope Uzodinma's tenure ends on the 29th of May 2027, when he's supposed to end his 8 years, if that is the time, you will say, okay, normal is what is obtainable here, you finish. But this man's tenure is still going to end somewhere down the road. It's not ending in May.
And it's not ending
in May.
To contest.
No, they should.
No, it's not supposed to contest.
Nothing stops him from contesting. But the fact remains that if you contest and you win the election, you have to leave the office of the governor. So the issue now is, a while ago, something happened. There was a rumor, whether it was a planted news, whether it was a news plan, that the deputy governor had resigned. You remember?
Yes.
Not long ago. Then after some time, and the news was all over the place.
Yes.
But after a while, that news was solidly and strongly refuted that she didn't resign, that she was still there. People now said, okay, could it be that maybe, because ordinarily, if Hope wins the election at the general election and he vacates the office in May of next year, who is going to fill up the remaining gap? It is the deputy governor that will fill up.
Yes.
So people are now saying maybe they wanted to remove the woman to bring in someone, to put there, but the woman, they say the woman, she's from a strong family. I think the husband is a son or a lawyer, a professor of law, or whatever. So based on that, man, nobody could intimidate her. If not, say the woman had been like any other person, they would have pushed her out. That was said. But we don't know. But the fact remains that I don't really know what actually gave that intention for the governor to feel that he can actually leave his office almost done. I won't call it midway because almost at the end of the tenure, to leave those remaining few months left for him to serve as the governor. He wants to leave them and then return to the Senate. I don't know, because for me, I still feel in the pecking order of political offices and importance, I still feel that being a governor is even more important, because the governor is the head of a subnational. Just like the president is the head of the national, the governor becomes, and in fact, let me even tell you, in the real federation, the governors even have more power than the president.
Yes. Because
they're the ones who actually hold that federation together as governors.
Yes.
The president, more or less, in many instances, just like a figurehead. You just take care of maybe diplomacy, take care of customs, and some other things. But in terms of governance and hitting the people, it is about, they have maybe foreign policies, macroeconomic policies, and the stuff for them. But when it comes to the nitty-gritty of governance, it is the governors who call the shots. So for me, I still feel that being the governors are even more important than being a governor. So I don't know.
I see it on that light.
So I don't know what's the issue, but that's why it's also another first. Since 1999, the worst thing we've heard would be some governors who may feel that they have some skeletons in their cupboard. Sometimes they jump and leave office before that May 29th, so that the EFCC will not come for them. It has happened here. But I've never seen a governor whose tenure was remaining and he left office to go to another office. So I have not seen that happen since 1999. I don't know, it hasn't happened. So we don't know how he's going to pan out, because he's just in one party. The election is going to be for different parties. What if he loses the election? He might still return to the governorship and forget about it.
He will still remain. He will still remain. Well, dear viewer, we are still on. It's The Polity on KAFTAN television. And we are discussing party candidates for elections, and we're asking a question. Choosing for voters or for parties. We have been looking at it and seeing that it looks as if the parties are just choosing for themselves, forgetting the populace. But we want to find out what is happening, so we'll conclude with that. Well, before we continue, we'll take a break. And what do we want to do? By the time we return, the phone number will be there for you to make your calls. Please call in and let's share with you what your opinion is. Let's take that break. Oh yes, good to have you back. And we're still talking, looking at the topic for today. talking about party candidacy, whether the elections, the candidates they are bringing forth for elections, whether they have considered the voters' feelings or just the party leaders' feelings. Well, you can make your call, as I said, now. We'll continue with the discussion, but we'll be expecting to receive calls from you to know what you think, and let's look at it and share it together. That's it. Of course, the number is there for you to look at and call, please. I wouldn't be able to just be mentioning it. Let's say 0902 99 38365. Am I far away from the truth? Well, we'll go on and let's have it. Well, we are still here talking about these matters. In Anambra State, there is this election, an ABGA. There are people who are struggling to get to the Senate. One of them is, that's Anambra North, talking about Obaru area and all that. One of them is Stella Odua, former senator. Well, senator, you don't say former senator, but then the senator, and of course, because once a senator, always a senator. And then that reminds me, when people are talking about the fact that these people want to perpetuate themselves in office and all that, I remember my brother who contested and won and stayed for just one tenure. And when they were talking about the second tenure, he said, I don't need it, I am going. I'm talking about Mike Ajebo Minaj. Okay. Mike came in and just did one session and said, I'm not going again.
Integrity.
He asked Annie late now to continue because he was one that he contested against and won from their party. Then he went on, and that was how Annie was able to get over there, because he himself, Mike Ajebo, left after staying for 4 years. Do we still have such people in Nigeria? Everybody wants to go there and stay there for the rest of their life. Yes, and die there. You know, this is number things in Nigeria, we die there. That's what they want to do. They all want to die there. Though John has tried to explain it, but then we're looking at it Nigerian way, not the American way. So, well, as I'm talking about the fellow Stella Odua is contesting under ABGA, and some other two other fellows also contesting. One that was the chief of staff for Obiano is contesting, and another one that has done something for the current governor is also contesting. They are contesting. So, well, we'll soon find out who eventually will get it. And it's like that in so many other places. As I mentioned earlier, that in Delta State, Okowa came in and took away the thing from Ned Nwoko. And someone said, oh, that this thing will disturb Ned Nwoko's fight for the 6th southeastern state to be from that area. Well, it may not be. It's true that when he's no longer sitting as a sitting senator, that he could still do something as a senator, talking and carrying on that project. That project is still possible. And
or was it conditional?
Well, of course, it wasn't conditional. You know, one thing again about these things is that Ned Nwoko said something, that the former chairman of APC told him that even when any person wants to come, they will consider they themselves that have been there. You know, that was when he defected to APC. But now, nobody is looking at those things. The thing has just gone on. How is Nigeria going? How do you see the movement of all these things today? Again, is it in the interest of people, or are they doing it their way?
Again, you know, even if we sound like what they call broken record, we will not stop talking about what democracy ought to be. It should be about the people. Because if you look at the situation in the country today, across the spectrum, across board, you will understand with me that things are not going well for the people in every aspect. And why it's always very strange, even for us as citizens, is that Nigeria is not a poor country in terms of the blessings that God has bestowed upon us, both as individuals who are well talented, what they call the human capital, or even the natural resources that are there. So Nigeria is not and shouldn't in any way be linked to poverty. It shouldn't be. So why then is Nigeria linked with poverty? Even at a point, was it not in 2022 when even the multi-dimensional poverty index was released? We're talking about 130 million Nigerians, who are affected by this multiple dimensional poverty. You remember that?
You went so bad last year.
You understand?
Yes.
So you could see, so the issue, so when you now interrogate the situation, what then is the problem? You still bring it back to politics. Because it is in politics that the policies that we bring food on the table of you and me, will be decided.
Yes.
It is politics. Because for you to be a president, you have to be a part of the party, you have to be elected, then you are given that mantle of leadership, then you now have the power, the mandate, as they say today, there's a mandate now. You have that mandate to serve the people, and like we say in Nigeria, bring the dividends of democracy. And what are those dividends of democracy? It's about the good life. It's about
security.
The security. It's about people. It's about you are sick, or your child is sick, or someone is sick, and there's no fear that if you go to a hospital, that you will not see a doctor or not see the right medicine or the right prescription, or that you have children who are of school age, and you know that there are institutions, there are schools, primary schools, secondary schools, universities that your children can go to, and they are assured that things will turn out good for them in life. You know that when you come out in the morning to go to your place of work, that the public utilities infrastructure, transport is working, that you could board a train from here to your location and get to a central area in your city and walk to your office. You understand? Yes. These are the things, but today, these things are not there. They are not there. These things are not there. So the issue is, what now happens that every year you have a fiscal policy that is embedded in the budget every single year, yet at the end of the day, these infrastructures are not there. Today, the trunk A roads that connect states, the federal roads that we call them, across the country, they are in so bad a shape that if you travel and you come back home safely, you will weep for this country. You will weep for this country. I have a friend of mine who was supposed to do something in upstate New York in America. He lived in the South. But something that happened that he couldn't fly. He was supposed to appear there the following morning, very important appointment. But because of weather, flights to the city was cancelled. Flights were cancelled, rather. Do you know that this gentleman just picked up his car and drove through the night for 9 hours and landed and got there without fear of anything, without being afraid that this night drive, that there's a pothole here, that I'll be killed. He drove alone for 9 hours to get from the southern state that he was in America to get to New York to be able to attend that particular function, simply because of the system that works. That is what Nigerians want. That's what governance is all about. Governance is not about the paraphernalia of having long convoy of cars on the road. It's not about having hefty policemen, gun-toting policemen following you all over the place. That is not governance. Governance is not about going to a party and you are throwing money all over the place. Governance is not about making donations of millions of naira, to some charitable cause. That's not governance. Governance is about when the citizens return home, they feel good at home because they know that there's a government around them. They can feel it. The people who go to work, look at the minimum wage in the country today, 70,000 naira or whatever. You understand? But if you go to advanced country and then you say 70,000 naira in the economy that is in recession, because the matter what you tell me, this economy is in recession.
Of course, no.
No matter what you tell me. Then you say 70,000 naira. 70,000 naira, like today, is nothing. If it were to be like 20 years ago, you could say 7,000 naira could be something. But
Even
now,
recent, sir.
it's nothing.
Of recent, where you are paying transport to and fro for 2,000, recently is 8,000. Transport alone.
Look at it now.
And they are still talking about
now,
7,000.
Nigeria is a member of OPEC, a net producer, exporter of petroleum, of oil. Now, when the crisis in Iran arose in February, the Strait of Hormuz was closed, just knocking down about 21% of the world oil flow, and it affected many countries. Now, if you look at the increases in pump price across OPEC countries, Nigeria still remains one of the highest.
The highest.
In terms of percentage,
And
two digits in terms of the highest. Now, even those who are not OPEC countries, those who are non-oil producing countries, despite everything, they still came with policies to cushion the effects of the Iran crisis on the people, so that nobody will feel it. But here in this country, despite the fact that we are, look at how we are the freak increase.
Is it not 5 or 6 in the world?
It does not really matter. The fact remains that we are a net producer and exporter. Whether we are number 1 or number 2, but we are a member of OPEC. That's what matters here. We're a member of OPEC. Now, amongst all the members of OPEC who are affected in this, there has been a slight marginal increase in the pump price. But if you look at the percentage, it's all single digits. Nigeria is just among the one that the increase in percentages is about 2 digits.
Not even among the highest.
You understand? So what has been today now, you see the price of fuel going up. So tell me, so now why I'm bringing all these issues up is because we are back again to the process, to the same ritual of electing political office holders who have the mandate to come out with the best economic policies that will benefit people, yet nothing is going to happen. It's still going to be the same old story. So that is where the problem lies. So we don't know how it's going to pan out, when it's going to pan out, that Nigerians will start really feeling and beat their chest and say, truly, there's a government in place in this country.
That's it. Since I think some time ago on this program, I said something that we have the money to construct superhighways. We have. They are talking about the one from Lagos to Calabar. Then there's another one from Lagos to Sokoto. And we have already seen a bit of the work going from Calabar end, from Lagos end. I don't know whether anybody has seen any work going from Calabar end. Then again, the Lagos to Sokoto, very soon we'll start seeing the work moving from Lagos end. Nobody will ask whether the one from Calabar, from Sokoto will start, or is that where it will end? Because when we're talking about this thing, the little money you say you have and you're doing Lagos to this, Lagos to this, Lagos to that, why does it all happen from Lagos? Why can't it start from Sokoto and be coming down? Let's see it coming from Sokoto that is going to Lagos. That's a question. And this money that we need to spend to get these superhighways are huge amounts of money that we can start doing rail lines from from Lagos to Sokoto. You know, effective rail lines from Lagos to Sokoto. It will cost us up to 10 times or 20 times less than what it would have cost us to do that superhighway we're doing today. And in actual fact, one of my guests then told me, we even have the money for both. We have the money to do this and to do the other one. Why can't we see these things happen? I mean, there is nothing spectacular we have seen that will make us feel, okay, these people, continue, you have done this great. We have not seen any of those things. It's been the way it has been all the while. What would have been a bit spectacular is if that Lagos Calabar highway had been, concluded now, or done halfway, and we see it, then we say, okay, but let's not start what I know that maybe after the next 4 years it will be abandoned. Lagos will enjoy the one that has happened to wherever it will stop. Yes, and it will end with the southwest states, and that's why the matter ends. Let's be careful what we're doing with the national fund. Let it not be something that's been used for regional development. These are the things we need to say. So if you say you're going to do another one from Lagos again to not Sokoto now, to maybe any other place, start from there. Do it from there. Let it start coming towards Lagos. Must it all start from Lagos to go there? Well, there are many things we need to talk about that we'll look at and see. Again, I have asked the question. There are roads that have been dilapidated effectively. Talking about maybe moving from Lokoja, only from Lokoja to Delta is something else today.
It's a nightmare.
There is no one straight route through which you can go because there are so many of them all spoiled. They've gone through many villages and spoiled the village roads and all that. Nobody is even talking about this. We need to even look at these things. Let's get some of these things done effectively. That's why when I hear Peter Obi say 4 years is enough for someone to do something that will impact everyone in the state, and I want to pray, may he come so we can see it. Because all that we've been told, we have not seen any. Elections is coming again, and leaders are coming. Would the vote of the people even count? That's another question. If they finish bringing the people they want to bring, when we go to vote, would that vote ever count? What do you think?
Just
before you, what do you think?
Exactly, yeah.
Let me hear you say before I go to John.
Yes. I know sometimes when I talk prophetically. So, and on few occasions I make statement here, you always see it come to pass exactly the way
you said it, yes.
Already this your consensus candidacy you are hearing is targeted at something. They've had series of night meetings upon night meetings and testing one another's capacity and how much you can be a loyalist and settlement factors. So, okay, when it comes to electoral process, are you going to be like a Wike that is ready to enter all kinds of nooks and crannies in River State and make sure you butcher and hijack ballot boxes? Do you have that capacity? So once in that their index, you are qualified. They give you that. So we are not expecting anything better because it's the same people that are there bringing in their own private and what I call consensus candidacy. And
this, now that you mentioned Wike, it reminds me of one thing I was thinking. What if Chinda tomorrow does not do what Wike wants? You'll fight him again.
Yes, something recycled, the Fubara saga recycles. You get? Then come to this infrastructure you just mentioned now. Do you know that we don't even need to borrow? Because internally generated revenue that, especially this APC government has increased since inception, is really, really astronomical, that we don't need anything foreign, appealing for funds. But now, Buhari borrowed and borrowed and borrowed until he left. Now, Tinubu has continued that same segment of impoverishing our posterity. We are in hungry already. We are hungry. We are impoverished already. Not to talk of our own children and the future of Nigeria. The route network you have mentioned now, we would have concentrated on interstate for commercial purposes, and then these village routes that is not being dilapidated by commercial view. Dangote trailers is also a big setback for the farmers that have not been killed by the Fulanis for now, because it has been butchering of farmers and what have you. Look at the price of the hype of food stuff in the market now. It's ambiguous. Everything is just annoying.
Again, some time ago, we saw if I do not restore power system, do not vote me for me in the next election.
Yes, we had all that.
It is happening. We've not seen it restored.
They are the first to install a solar panel.
You see part of what I was saying before.
Please, sorry. Let's have you continue from where you stopped, John.
Okay, we are connecting, we are linking government, politics, and how it affects the people.
Yes.
That's the link, the triangle there. You understand? So if you look at the infrastructure, you just mentioned all the road, the Badagry, Sokoto, the Calabar, Lagos-Calabar, 700 kilometers, Calabar stuff. Okay, now, these are good projects, because the Lagos-Calabar road is going to be like a causeway. It's going to go through the coastal path and then terminate in. So normally, it's a very good infrastructure. Same with the Lagos, connecting the Lagos, Badagry to Sokoto, you should connect that corridor from south to north or north to south.
Northwest, yes.
Good plan.
Both for economy, commercial activities.
Good plan, good policy. But the issue is, in simple economics, you have opportunity costs, you have scale of preference. You look at the situation, you have your list. So you know, this list that I have, which ones are the most important? Which ones do I need? That if I do them now, I will be okay. You face those ones. Now, those huge projects, as good as they may be, if you want to face road infrastructure, please focus on the federal roads across the country. There are death traps, especially now that the rains are here. In fact, from Okene to Upela to Auchi, it's not passable.
It's not.
So what you simply do is that you either look for a way to divert, like you just mentioned, or you even pass through inside Okene, come through the other part of Akokwedo, then come out to Igara, then bus to then you bus at Auchi, you continue, and even from Auchi to Benin, it's not even good at all. You take you hours to get to that point. That's just on one hand. And the same story is all over the country. That's the federal rules. Now, you also have the state rules. That these state rules, the ones that connect local government to local government. Because the federal rules connect state to state. Why the secondary roads, the trunk B roads, they connect from state capitals to local government capitals, and so you have now the ancillary roads. Now, why can't we focus? So even if this government is going to spend 4 years, let us use these 4 years to fix all the federal roads in this country to make sure that somebody can travel all over this country without having a pothole anywhere along the road. Then the state government themselves say, we can also do it. Because road infrastructure is because it is these roads that are the conveyors of civilization, conveyors of development.
Both health, education.
They are the conveyors of development,
commercial life,
and civilization.
Governance.
Now you talk about rail, for example. Now, under the administration of Jonathan, then completed by Buhari, you had the Abuja Kaduna. You also have the Itakbai Warri. Now, every day is either there's a derailment of a train. You hear all kinds of stories. Now, initially the plan would have been you link Itakbai to Abuja, which is now linked to Kaduna. So you can travel all the way from Warri through that belt, through that corridor to Abuja and continue to Kaduna and to Kano. Because if you look at originally, Nigeria had 2 rail lines. The Eastern Rail Line that started in Port Harcourt, goes through the Eastern Heartland and then comes to Kaduna, where it continues to other parts of the country to the northeast. Then you have the Western Railway, starting from Lagos, from Ido, and then continues through Ibadan, through the Western Corridor, and then also comes to Kaduna. That's why they call Kaduna Junction. So the one that is coming from the east, that the Eastern Line, once a little bit around Kafanchan, it diverts to Jos, Bauchi. But it still continues, the main line continues to Kaduna, while a branch goes off to Jos and Bauchi, then continues to the northeast. Then if you now get to Kaduna, where the 2 great rail lines meet, then they divert to different parts of the country. And these things were built for purposes, is to link the north and south, both economically, commercially, and otherwise. And that was this thing continued on this, and these rail lines were very, very powerful. And they continued serving this country until in the 90s, where we abandoned them. And today we cannot even build rail infrastructure today in this country. We can't do rail infrastructure. So you look at the one they built here. Every day you'll be hearing that the rail derailed in Kaduna, it derailed in Cuba, it derailed here. The same thing with the line.
Yes.
Why?
Well, and what is more, all these roads we're talking about is still not the modern one. It is the old standard gauge.
It doesn't matter.
It's called the standard gauge, but even
it's a narrow gauge.
It's a better.
It's a narrow gauge. See, if you want to improve the rail line, you must build from what you have. If you go to India, which is one of the countries, you know, there are still rail lines that are up to 100 years old and are still very effective.
Okay, please, I want to say thank you to you both because we're already out of the time. I want to thank you, John Okoro, for coming.
Thank you very
please
much.
come again soon.
Thank you.
I want to thank you, Sam Praise Itomo for coming. Please come again
The
soon.
pleasure is mine.
Right.
Wonderful audience. God
Thank
bless
you so much, Debayo Sanusi. Thank you, Victor Adeye, Victor Chizea. Thank you, Oluwaseun. Thank you so much. Adejumo, yes. Thank you, all of you, for being there for me. Kayode Bamileni, thank you so much. Everyone else has been involved. Thank you. Again, I must say that it's been wonderful sharing the moments. I do hope that Bright is still around, because he was there when we started. Thank you. This is Okechi Kwanobongo. What have I got to say? May the very best happen to us all the time.